In northern Italy, a rescuer wades through swamps which days before were people's homes. 6 months' worth of rain has fallen here in just 36 hours in Emilia Romagna, northeastern Italy. With so little time to prepare, emergency services call from home to home, evacuating those who are trapped in just a few hours. As hundreds of streets become rivers, helicopters rescue those who are most hard to reach. Elsewhere, dinghies become the only means of escape for some of the 10,000 who've now been forced to leave. Families brought together in ways they never imagined, navigating debris now brought to the surface. Here where people complain that river management has been partially neglected for too long. At least 13 lives have already been lost, another calamity made worse by the climate crisis. Raffaella and her husband Maurizio woke up this morning to find that their family memories were destroyed.
Io dormivo, lei mi ha svegliato quando io sono scappati, ma in 448 l'acqua era pieno.
Across the whole region, devastation arrived overnight, with some areas being inundated with 500 millilitres of rain in a day and a half. 280 landslides and 23 rivers burst their banks, and this is the result. The Italian Farming Association says that the damage is incalculable, with 5,000 farms affected, vineyards, fruit, vegetables and grain all underwater. Floods are not new, but in some places their frequency and severity is. The whole Mediterranean has been gripped by drought all winter. When torrential rain comes, the parched earth cannot absorb it, and floods sweep through street and home.
Everywhere in the world, droughts are getting worse. The Mediterranean region is the one part of the world where we have very high confidence that climate change is leading to more droughts, longer droughts, and more frequent. And everywhere in the world, these extremely short, heavy rainfall events, which have caused the floods here, are also becoming more intense because of climate change.
Today is the first in days without rain, but the red alert remains. And as politicians call for a national plan to deal with climate change-induced floods, as the grey waters still sit and the endless mud is cleared, others are left to make temporary homes in unlikely places.
Just before coming on air, I spoke to Matteo Lepore. He's the mayor of Bologna, the capital of Emilia Romagna. I asked him whether these are really the worst floods that he's seen or he's heard about in the region in the last 100 years.
Absolutely. Never seen something like that in Emilia-Romagna region, especially in the eastern part. Very, very huge critical situation. This flood is very bad. It's very bad.
And why do you think it is so bad?
But I think the rainfall so heavy, the quantity of the water in the last 2 weeks never seen in the 100 years. And especially for the number of the rivers, 21 rivers in critical situation, and 50 different municipalities under the water. Pianura Padana in the part of Emilia-Romagna now is under the water.
And are the rivers flooding this way because they haven't been dredged properly? Is this a question of bad river management over the years?
I think we have different situation, perhaps in general the climate change, but also the quantity of the water in a few days, and obviously the adaptation we need this kind of changes. And I think investment we need in Italy, a very fragile country.
Because if climate change continues, as it will, if the rain continues to fall in these dramatic quantities, as it surely will, then there has to be a lot more and rather expensive river management, doesn't there?
Absolutely. And another thing are the soil situation. The soil now is not able to absorb all the water. So the next week, for example, new meteo situation very critical. We are waiting new rainfall, and we don't know if we are able to manage the next week.
And we've heard of, I think, at least 13 people who have lost their lives in this. Many other people injured, many people homeless. Give us some idea of the human scale of suffering.
In my city, Bologna, we have about 1 million resident metropolitan area. In this moment, 3,700 persons evacuated. But in the region, many more, especially in Romagna. And only in Bologna, 100 million euros of damage, only in roads and streets and bridge. Only in these days, these are the first calculation of damages.
And just finally, Mayor, this is one of the richest parts of not just Italy, but of Europe, with many factories in the plain that you described, the floodplain. How much damage do you think will have been caused by this?
I don't know in this moment, but I think industry, but more agricultural sector. Fruit, many trees destroyed, and for fruit sector, this is a very bad thing, because for a tree we need 7 years to recover. So I think an entire economy destroyed.